Ah, Good evening, everyone, and welcome to another Talkie Tuesday live stream with me, your host, Winters SEO. How's the sound? How's everything? Craven's got to get back on the road. Wraith Raider actually made it this week. Sid is in the chat. Rue is in the chat. Matt Banks, Rue, it's a shame that you missed the Realm of Chaos event. You'd have loved it. Sound is good. Thank you. Sound is good. We've had some troubles in the past, but I think we've nailed it down now. Hello, everyone, subscribers, watchers, people in the VOD squad who are watching this afterwards, people of all tiers, and Mug Club members, of which there are 59 now. No, actually, I should need to do that up to 61 because Plant gave away 2 mugs at the Realm of Chaos, which I was at the weekend. 61 in the Mug Club. Wish you had Tuesday off for these streams. You don't know. I mean, if you had Tuesday off, you wouldn't be watching these streams. You're in Merca. You'd be out there bazookaing wild hogs from the back of a helicopter. Something like that. Just finishing up an inventory of your Black Templars. You have so many models to paint. It's silly. Eternal Crusader. That sounds like you're living the hobby dream there. Too many models. Not enough paint. Not enough time. It was an amazing event, Wraith Rider. It was. Wraith Raider. It was. Well done to all those. Yes. It was a lovely event. I'm here to talk about the disasters and the victories. They're the two completely separate things. We can talk about the event and what went on. Hello, Blood Buffalo. Evening official Oztas. Not enough time, not enough hands. Listen, it was a glorious event. Now, normally when I go along to community events like King of the North, Weekend at Bernie's, March of Winters, things like that, disaster. We'll talk about the disaster in a minute. It's okay. It's sort of been fixed. It was a bit of a disaster, but we're nearly there. We'll talk about that. Do you want to start with the bad news or the good news? Do you want to start with the disaster first or the event roundup? Because I did go 4-0. For those of you that follow me on the Instagram, winters.seo on the Instagram, I think it is. I did post a stories on the couple of when I'm posting stories and things, I'm not very good on the Instagram, but sometimes I post some stuff. I'm okay on the Instagram. And sometimes I post stories and things. The only disaster I've had recently was in my shorts. Badum-tish. Weasel, thank you for 15 months. Absolute legend. 15 months. It means you're beginning to walk now. Soon you'll be picking up things and speaking full words. Thank you. Evening to you. Thank you. Bad news first. You want the bad news first? Okay. Well, there was a bit of a disaster, so strap yourself in, guys. A bit of a disaster. I need a bit more of that coffee, actually. Mugs. Right. And Crazy Killswitch, thank you for 15 months as well. He'll be walking soon too. A spider egg hatched and fell into my hair today at work. My soul left my body. I keep feeling them in my residual paranoia. A spider egg hatched. Imagine that and all the little legs at work. It's basically time to burn your work down, isn't it? That's the only solution to that. Blood Buffalo does win, even in Crazy Killswitch. Thank you for your 50 months. Thank you, Weasel. Thank you, everyone. So the disaster. You want to start with the disasters? We can start with the disasters. So, every now and then, very rarely, I get a comment like, can you improve the video quality on your videos? I mean, what do you guys think of the video quality, the actual picture quality? I guess if you're trying to watch a battle report on your big screen TV in 4K, Ultra HD, it's, I don't film in Ultra HD. I film in HD 4K. That's what Sid, remember 8 months. Still crawling. You'll be walking soon. What do you guys think of the overall video? I guess if you're watching it on your phone or you're watching it on a pad, if you're watching a battle report on one of those things, the video quality is fine. But if you put it up on the big screen, it's not. You think the quality is fine. I watch on my 4K TV, so I'm going, still looks great. I thought you use a camcorder, not your phone. I do use the phone with all the things turned on. Friendly Neighborhood, thank you for your 19 months. He's the oldest guy in the room, running around, poking his sister. I've never had an issue with video quality. Thanks for the content. Okay, so you guys are happy with it. Fine. The personality, fine. The tech is secondary. The personality and style, it's fine. Yeah, I mean, that's how I like to think it. I like to think that it's about the narration and it's about the... Look at the light balance in here as well, because it's so bright. The tech quality, not so good. When we played the stream on the Megatron in the Bill Stadium, it was a bit grainy. Yeah, don't play it on the Megatron in the Bill Stadium. That'll be a bit grainy. So anyway, so what I did was I decided to... Yeah, you need good lighting. You're right. The main thing if you want to film, because let's face it, most of the filming is at hand's breadth away. Rue, 32 months. He's the oldest mushroom in the... He stopped potty training. He's running around all over the place. He's saying full sentences. Thank you for your 32 months. Visuals are fine. Thank you. Yeah. What was I saying? Yes, because we're filming small things this far away, you need bright lighting. So I've got 4 big bright bulbs in the ceilings to make it office bright. And then I've got the studio lights to wash out the shadows on at least 2 sides of the thing. Much prefer my way of filming. It's easy to understand everyone's strategy and how the game is progressing and what you are dictating and filming up close. Please never change it. I don't know if I could change it if I wanted to. I've been doing it for so long now. It's sort of... I have been thinking though that I want to add more story. Sometimes I get carried away with the gaming side of things. And when I'm doing the heresy ones, I notice the story comes out a lot easier to me than the story of doing the 40k ones. And I think that's because the heresy rules are written with the narrative in mind, narrative first. And that definitely comes out through the game system and when you're playing. And the 40k ones are not written with that in mind first. They're written with balance at first. And you've got lots of pluses and you've got lots of minuses, and then the stratagem comes in here. So it's not just I roll this and do this and you need to save this. It's I roll this and I've added this and I've twisted that, and eye of toad, wing of bat, tail of newt. Here's the thing, you know? Craven, 14 months. Thank you. Legend. Visuals are great when winter's on stream. So the narration happens easier for me when I'm filming Heresy than 40k, because I think the Heresy rule set leans towards narration. It just comes out. It comes out of it. It flows all over the place, easier. And I want to add that more. I'm mindful of that. Every time I film a battle report, I want the battle report to be the best battle report I've ever filmed. I've always got, is this table the best I can make it? Is the army the best balance it can be? I'm aiming for perfection every single time. And I know I fall far of the mark, but I want to try and create something good. I don't want to put something crap out there. I want to create something good, very good every single time. And I've noticed that I could add some more narrative to the 40k, definitely. That's been bubbling on my mind for a while now. And then I start filming a 40k battle report and forget and slip back into the old habits of what I'm doing and how I'm doing it. And I need to stop myself and say, add narrative. I need to do that more. Particularly in the turn wrap-ups, like we're now at the end of the turn, and why and who. And it's telling stories with dice. I like telling stories. Bloodbath Row, thank you for your first donation of the evening. Do you even 40k, bro? Changes Heresy. Rue gifted 5 memberships. We've got first donation of the evening. Love you both. GG's in the chat for Jew and Blood, for Rue and Blood Buffalo, please. GG's in the chat. Absolutely. Big W, guys. Thank you. Supporting the channel, supporting me, keeping the dream alive. Love you. Sid, thanks for the GG. Eos Tas is now a member. The Empress, but where are we? So, Evening Jackus Woods. GG's in the chat for those. So where was I? Yes, I'm thinking of trying to add a bit more narrative to the 40k. I'll get there. Add a bit more of a story. Up, Adam. So that's the plan. Anyway, and I was thinking about upping the tech quality on the phone and filming in Ultra HD 4K USB SpaceX Geneva Convention levels, which is probably something that you should be doing if you're filming someone skiing down a mountain in ultra slow mo and you want the rainbow of, you want the snow with the sunlight catching it in the bright summer air and the snow coming across forming a magic rainbow, and you probably want that then, but you probably don't need it for little toy soldiers. But nevertheless, I decided to switch to Ultra HD, and I didn't know that when you switch to Ultra HD, this is the disaster, that it turns off auto stabilization on the phone. So it films every camera shake, and the two videos that I filmed in Ultra 4K realist and with that setting turned, because all the other settings are turned off, but that one it couldn't handle, turned off. The film footage is like this. Yeah. It's high speed. I normally film it in 60 frames a second. I forget, ultra high def, but not 4K. So ultra high def 4K 60 frames a second. And I'm like, I can't use that footage. Disaster. I can't use that footage. And one of the games was a 40K game with Dark Angels Chris, now known as Farseer Fraser, and it was a very close game between a sweaty Eldar list and a sweaty Necrons list, and that one will be that one will go gangbusters. You guys will like that one, particularly those that lean into the sweat. And the other one was the one that I said was probably one of the best games I've played. Like, it's in the top 5. And that's the one from last week where I played James from Much of War.co.uk with over 500 miniatures on the table. Militia versus Space Marines in 30k. No, filming for stationary models, do you really need Ultra HD 4K? I don't think so. So it was a disaster. I shouldn't have changed the settings. Should have stuck where it is. Now I've got lots of footage of that. You know, it's not good. And so, yeah, well, and then I told them both, 1 minute, I can't use that footage. And Dark Angels Chris was like, I understand. I just like playing with you. I've got him booked in for a few more up there. It's fine. James from marchofwar.co.uk started crying and said, we can fix it. And I'm sure he's right. I'm sure someone with some technical knowledge can fix and stabilize the footage after the fact. But I can't do it on my Windows editing movie software, and neither can my wife. And she's the tech genius in the house. So footage lost. How to fix it? Disaster. One of the greatest war games I've ever played. It's like got 400, because you put all the files together. They're normally around the 200 mark. I say they're normally around the 100 mark. They're normally 150 to 200, but this big one was like 400 edits of. Yeah. Can't we just shake our heads whilst watching it? Yeah, I could put it up and you'd be like, whilst watching it. But no, honestly, it will give people epileptic fits if I put it on the YouTubes. So disaster happened. But here's the thing. I was at the Realm of Chaos event at the weekend at Firestorm Games in Cardiff, which was glorious, which we can talk about later. Lovely venue, lovely people. Thank you, Plant. And Thingy Bob, I'm terrible with names, but Thingy Bob was there from whatculture.com, and Daily Dice, no, not that YouTube channel. He's from another YouTube channel, and he's actually a video editor. That's what, hi Inchin, he's a video editor. And so he said, what you need is Adobe Pro, and you put it in this thing, go to the effects thing. Once I've done the whole video, put it in there, go to the thing, put it in there, and then I can put it through this thing, and it'll shrink the sides a little bit, and it does that to pull in the video, and then it will stabilize it. It's auto stabilization technology. Wow. Adobe After Effects or something. Wow, it'll fix it. It'll fix it. So disaster averted. What I need to do now is, after I've edited the video, because it's they're not going to come out this week. They'll come out the week after or something. I've got videos ready for tomorrow in here. I've got a video ready for Sunday in here. What I need to do now is edit my videos the normal way. But because it's on Ultra HD 4K GCSE footage, I can't do it in one hit. I need to edit half, and then once that's rendered and done, then go back in there, put them together, render it as one, done. And then when that's done, download Adobe, put it into Adobe, and tell it to do the After Effects thing, and then it will sort out the shaky thing. And Thingy Bob from What Culture, Daily Dice, Not Daily Dice YouTube channel, the other one, it's been on the channel, nice guy, said it'd take hours because it's got to go through every single frame, but it'll fix it. So I've got to do that twice to 2 videos. And next week I've got a window. Next week there's a good few days where I can throw myself at this. Can't do it this week. Couldn't do it the weekend. Busy. And also I'm filming. I'm literally filming Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday this week. So disaster averted. We should be able to rescue the footage. Stay tuned for further updates. We can see how it goes. Or you could learn to edit in Adobe and save yourself some steps. Yeah, or I could put it all into Adobe and save myself some steps. You're right, Monkey. But the thing is, I don't pay for my footage software. I don't want to pay for Adobe. I'm tight. I'm not as tight as you. I know you're very tight, Monkey, but I don't like spending money. And so I figure if I can get Adobe for like a 30-day free trial, then that'd be enough to fix the 2 videos. And then I could delete Adobe and not pay them any money, maybe. But I know Sultan does the Adobe thing. And Sultan's coming around tomorrow, so I'll talk to him as well, because, you know, he's a millennial. He'll know what he's doing. Disaster averted. You know what I mean? Yeah, so that's all of that. That's good. Finally have time to fix some things. And stay tuned to see if one of the greatest games I've ever played in a long time actually comes up on the YouTubes, because I loved it. Just make sure the trial doesn't put watermarks on your video as it's a trial. What do you mean watermarks on a video? You mean like watermarks as in you getting money on a video? I haven't even downloaded the Adobe yet, and you're making me worried. Is there, if I have to pay for it, I guess I have to pay Adobe watermarks. Is that a sentence in English? I'll talk to Sultan. Maybe I send it to Sultan and he could render the whole thing and then send it back again. But the size of the file in a Dropbox, it's going to be, the smaller video is going to be about 8 gig. The bigger video is going to be about 12 gig. It's going to take 7 years to send it to someone and back again. Subscribe to Adobe for stable warp. That something about the warp. Yes, that's what he said. The stable warp or the warp things will fix it. So basically, maybe after all these years, I need to update this crappy software to finally Adobe. Let's face it, everyone on YouTube that I've ever spoken to uses Adobe Pro, except me. Because, you know, Abaddon outside Earth with a sign. I don't think we should. I agree, Inchin. We shouldn't be messing with the warp, should we? You should leave the warp alone. Inchin, welcome. Welcome to the chat. I know you were in earlier, but you were in the latest Bat Report of the weekend, weren't you? With your Eldar. We played Murder Bowl. That was lovely. Bye, Monkey. Embrace the warp. I'm not embracing the warp. The end of all things. I did embrace the warp a little bit at the Realm of Chaos at the weekend. Ah, dear. Anyway, hobby catch-up time. I have finished painting 6 Aquilin Terminators for Horus Heresy. These are lovely. Evening Wolf Boot. Just 6 of these guys is 600 points. But I think they came out really well. So I quite like them. And a big box turned up. Can you tell what it is yet? It's from Den. And so I'm filming Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And I'm either going to do an unboxing. They're bigger on the it's bigger on the inside. They are definitely bigger than 40k Alaris Terminators. Here's comparison. 1 minute. Size comparison. Yeah, them bigger than. Eamon's back with a massive donation again. Eamon, I sure hope you're rich, like you're a Hollywood actor or a brain surgeon or something, because thank you for dropping an incredibly generous donation of $300. That is amazing. Thank you. You've done it a couple of weeks. You just thank you. I appreciate it. I appreciate it. Thank you, Eamon. Thank you. Yeah, Adobe Pro for a year. Honestly, what I'll probably do is get it for the month and try it and then see how we get on. And then put the remaining money over to the Loft Fund to see if we get enough money together to do the Loft, which is, we've got a year and a half on that. There's a plan now. We can talk about that later. Best send him a mug. I don't know. He's in America somewhere. I think, well, maybe even Eamon is Secret Henry Cavell. Maybe, hi Henry, would you like the game for 40k? You could turn up. We could film. I think it'll do the algorithm very well and probably help the channel out an awful lot. Henry, the door's open anytime. Like I say, my wife would be quite delighted to meet you too. But thank you, Eamon. You're the GOAT. I appreciate you. Where was I? Sharing my hobby things. Aquilin Terminators for 30k, definitely bigger than the 40k ones. A lot more expensive to field. Absolutely brutal. They've been sat on my shelf for a year, along with Konstantin Valdor. I'm really looking forward to painting this guy, but I need to magnetize. He comes in one of those scenic bases. Like that. But I need to magnetize the bit around the front so he doesn't fall off the scenic base when I'm doing the scenic base stuff, and then I'll finish him off. And that's the Custodes. But in the box, like I say, filming Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So Monday or Tuesday next week, I'm going to do either an unboxing on this from Den of Imagination, either an unboxing or just a standard video talking about it. But I need to do a video. I like to celebrate every time I get, like, here's my new Heresy army, Raven Guard. And here's my new Horus Heresy model. And here are the new orcs from Den of Imagination for Warhammer 40k. Really looking forward to getting them on the table as well. So, and then you should start to see them in battle reports in about 3 or 4 weeks' time. Yes. So that's exciting. We've got 40k stuff. We've got 30k stuff. The disaster with the video, we've figured out a way around it. And we should be okay. Because Adobe Pro, Eamon has donated for the whole year. If I want to get Adobe Pro for the whole year. I appreciate you. It's just, you're amazing. Thank you. Thank you to everyone who chooses to support the channel. Everyone who likes, shares, comments, subscribes, and all the members and Mug Club members and Tier 3 channel members. You can get an extra battle report every single Winter's Wednesday. And tomorrow it is me versus Sultan. Tomorrow with a crazy edit at the very end of the video. Because at the end of the video, we started arguing in a humorous arguing in a good way. No blood was spilt. We're like, what? Arguing in a very gamer way. And the argument that we agreed on at the end, the conclusion that we agreed was completely wrong when we went away and looked at the rules later on. What we should have done is just look at the rules. So I put in like a winter's edit at the end. This is me. This is what happened. This is what the conclusion is. Because there's a teaching moment there, but Tier 3 channel members, you can, it's humorous. You can watch that on the tomorrow's one. And then Sunday, it's going to be a Horus Heresy battle report, which is a very, very good game with Steve Not Rob versus my Raven Guard. Sultan, never heard of them. Sultan, you know, like raisins, but raisins are nicer than sultans, obviously. I mean, raisins, they're just dried grapes, aren't they? I don't even know what a sultan is, but they don't taste as nice as raisins. Like when you get your sultans and your nuts. Like you can live on the side of a mountain with a half a Kendall mint cake and some sultans and nuts. You can live there. But if someone puts raisins and nuts, but if someone puts sultans down, then something about the savings. Sultans. Words. Sultana. Something about sultanas as well. So I'm looking forward to playing with them. But I've never seen Dark Angels played in Horus Heresy. Are they any good? Yes, they are. Here's the thing about Horus Heresy. All the factions are good. And all the factions have their pluses and minuses. I mean, you could say that salamanders aren't great. But if you love salamanders and want to play salamanders, then you're going to find them great. And pyroclasts are great. And Vulcan is a great Primarch. He's got It Will Not Die 4 up. He's not going anywhere anytime soon. And he's got Strength 10, AP1, Mastercrafted, Instant Death, Thunderhammer, what's not to like. And you can get the guys with the OG Terminators with the shields and the hammers, what's not to like. And Salamanders arguably aren't good compared to some of the good factions. They're all good. If you like Heresy and you want to throw yourself into them, you'll love them. Dark Angels thing is they're the first legion. They can do a bit of everything. They can do a bit of White Scars. They can do a bit of Raven Guard. They can do a bit of Iron. They have the different wings. Raven Wing and Death Wing we know about, but they have Fire Wing and Dread Wing and the other wings and the Iron Wing. Before there were legions, when the Emperor had, after the Primarchs were snatched away, before there were legions, before even the pacification of Luna, there was lots of compliances that happened during the unification on Terra, where Space Marines were deployed, particularly during the final years of unification on Terra, with all sorts of different gene seeds in them, but they didn't belong to a legion and they didn't belong to a Primarch. They were all pushed together under one banner, and they tried out the Dreadwing, the Firewing, the this wing, the that wing, the that wing. And then after the pacification of Luna and the pacification of the Sol system, where the Great Crusade finally happened and the Emperor went out across the galaxy, before he met Horus himself, which was 5 years later, one legion, and it was all tried and tested under the Dark Angels. And the book shows you that. The book shows you how. And then when the legions turned up, some of them leaned to that way of war, some of them leaned to that way of war, some of them the Iron Wing, the Dread Wing, the Fire Wing. It was all play tested, which is something Games Workshop never does. But the Emperor saw play testing as a good idea. It was all play tested long and hard with the First Legion first. So they can do a bit of everything. And Calabanic Knights are really good. The Lion is one of the strongest Primarchs. The mixing and matching of the wings with the Dark Angels list is good. There's a lot of flavor to Dark Angels in Horus Heresy. That's a long answer to say yes. The Valdor book was so good. Absolutely. Of the Primarch series, I say it again for anyone who doesn't know, anyone on the fleet, anyone in the chat who wants a Primarch novel, which you can read as a standalone book, the three that you must pick up are Kurz, the Night Haunter, Alfarius, and Valdor. And I would recommend doing Valdor then Alfarius, because it kind of follows, it's set around the same time, pre-heresy. Is it true that the Dark Angels kind of got depressed as the Crusade was leaving the Sol system and that the other legions were surpassing their skills? It's not true, no. So, was the good news that you can fix the disaster? If so, how would you have told us that first if we want? No, the good news, so disasters and victories. Good, thank you, stay on target. So that was the disaster. The disaster was I thought I lost 2 battle reports. I was very upset at the time. And I've been told how to fix them. Haven't fixed them yet, but we will fix them. So, disaster averted. The victories, the good news, is Realm of Chaos at the weekend, Fast Storm events in Cardiff. Your boy went 4-0, undefeated. I put it on the Instagram, 4-0. Hi, Luton. Welcome to the chat. Thanks for popping in. Yeah, 4-0. That's what we were talking about, Realm of Chaos, Luton, which I went to at the weekend. But seeing as you're here, because, me and Luton, we've got some ideas for some games, things that we want to do. And I had an idea of a larger game, 3,000 points, 4,000 points, where we're firing ordnance at each other, doing mortal wounds to each other in each command phase. Because if you bring a large number of points, it can take a large period of time to play. But if you bring a large number of points, and in every command phase, you're dropping ordnance at each other, scattering it full and doing mortal wounds, then those large number of points become a small number of points rather quickly. I thought that would be really cool. You know what I mean? You could turn up with like 4,000 points then, but by the end of turn 2, we've both got 2,000 points. It's just, it makes a random element, and it automatically adds story to the battle, because there'll be some points that you're fighting over. Meanwhile, stuff shelling in overhead. It'll allow for some crazy dice rolls and for some crazy moments, particularly if we use the scatter dice like you used to in OG 40k, and you still do in Heresy, and that blaster marker scatters and hits one of your own units. And I also thought maybe like once per battle you could call in a red strike. Like if your warlord was in trouble, once per battle he could call down a strike on his own head, and it doesn't scatter. Like, on my target, fire on my target, we're all gonna die, man, we're in some pretty fucking shit now, man, what are we gonna do now, man, why don't you put her in charge? They mostly come out at night, and on his head, and the boom, and the thing, it might be glorious. I guess off the board and ordnance, yeah, I think we talked about that, would be great, yeah. You don't want to build, no, the thing is as well, is you don't have to put them on the board. You don't have to build your Necron pylons or anything like that. You can play a normal 4,000 point, 3,000 point game, but really there's 100,000 points happening on that table over there, and that table over there, that table over there, that table over there. But the camera is focused on the 4,000 points here, because this is the eye of the storm. So you don't need to have pylons or ordnance on the table, because it's coming from over the hill, 17 tables over there. You know what I mean? Or orbital strike, as Adam Sand says. It could be coming down from orbit. It's the only way to be sure. Tobias Young, welcome to the fleet, sir. Thank you for becoming a Tier 3 channel member. That unlocks an extra battle report every single Winter's Wednesday. Tomorrow is... I forgot what I did against him. Tyranids. I wanted to run the new Tyranids against Salt and Plays from Salt and Plays YouTube channel. And he brought Salamanders. But I didn't know that at the time. The intro is quite funny. So hopefully you enjoy that video. Thank you for becoming a member of the 13th Fleet. You get a free ration of binaric protein once a day, every day, from one of the mess halls. And there are no smoking on decks 6 through to 612. Talking about Necron pylons, which book would you recommend next? Belisarius Call, The Great Works, or False Gods, the second Heresy book? Right, if you've read the first Heresy book, you need to read the second one and the third one. You need to go dunk, dunk, dunk. Because they follow each other sequentially. They're like a trilogy. They're really cool. Heresy peaks out. It doesn't really get better than those first 3 books. Read the first 3 books. And then Flight of the Eisenstein. And then go on and read The Great Work by Belisarius Call, because it's awesome. It's awesome. So they're all good. The fact that those are on your reading list means you're not going to get disappointed when any of the things. I'm ready to gorge on glorious content, good sir. Well, I hope you enjoy your gorging. When will the Death Guard be back on the channel? I don't know. I've got a game on tomorrow and a game Saturday. I might run the Death Guard on one of those. So then in a few weeks. When's the last time was the Death Guard on the channel? Has it been a while? I'm sure there might have been a members one that came out recently with them in it recently. What do you think about the rumor of plastic Demon Perturabo? I think we're going to get all the Primarchs. I think they're all coming in plastic. I think they'll all come in plastic, but for 40k and for 30k eventually. All of them. Primarchs make money. They're a model selling company. I love all the rumors, all the times about Primarchs. I want them all. I Got to catch them all. It would look good on the shelf next to Mortarion and next to Angron. You'll notice I haven't got Magnus yet on the shelf in plastic because that boy, he did plenty wrong. I still haven't forgiven him. Ah, dear. I've read 1, 2, 3 heresy books. I was wondering where to read next. I'm really interested in Primax. Read Valdor and then Alfarius, and that puts you at the very start. I'd say all of the Horus Heresy books I've read have been... They're not all stellar. Some of the Heresy books I've read the Heresy, but I'm going through the whole of the Heresy on Audible right now, and we're up to The Vengeful Spirit. And it's amazing what you pick up on Audible as opposed to reading them. And I'm having a great time. I don't care if it takes 5 years. It's a year and a half it's taken us, me and Alex SEO, while we're painting on Horus Heresy Mondays. It's what he comes around on a Monday, we paint, we listen to some Heresy. Year and a half in, we're on book 20. It's awesome. If it takes us 5 years, then it's going to... I wish it never ended. Wish it never ended. Magnus was told to do nothing and he did that wrong. Yeah, exactly. Luton, I've done all the Heresy books, but I swear by the time you get halfway through, you already start forgetting things. Yeah. I know. Yeah. It's amazing, like, listening to it now. Like you're on book 20 or book 12 or book 15. They start mentioning some stuff. It's like, I know that one from way on in the thing. You can't... It's a long-running soap opera, right? No one knows what happened on Coronation Street 2 years ago, mostly because no one in the chat watches Coronation Street. But even people who watch Coronation Street don't know what happened on Coronation Street 2 years ago. Heresy is like that. It's one long, gorgeous smorgasbord. It's like... It's something to be enjoyed, like mud wrestling in a big tub of Nutella with 1,000 hamsters. You know, something just to let them run. Just let them roll out all their tiny feet. It'd be lovely. Echoes of Eternity was fantastic on Audible. Echoes of Eternity, yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I've read the Solar War and I listened to the Solar War. That's how... I know, it's crazy. Bought them in both formats. And that's because I'm so many books into the Heresy on Audible, which I never did before, just read it before. After reading the Solar War, I was like, I've got to listen to it on Audible now, because it's amazing what you pick up on. I know, it's a bit sad, isn't it? But you can paint while you're doing the Audible. You can paint while... And here's the other thing about the End and the Death. I know... Look, some people were expecting wild twists. And this isn't a spoiler alert. I think we all know now that there wasn't any wild twists at the End of the Death. And if you didn't know that, you're missing a few. There's some twists. There's some strange things. But, for example, the Titanic sunk, okay? And she could have put Jack on the thing, but she didn't. The Titanic sunk. Jack died. We knows that, okay? At the End of the Death, the Emperor ends up on the Golden Throne. That doesn't change anything. I was hoping it would be a wild twist, like it's been Malcador all along on the Golden Throne, and the Emperor went off for a sabbatical for 10,000 years. Or it was really Horus that we've been praying to for 10,000 years, because the Emperor slayed Horus and dragged his body down and imprisoned him on the Golden Throne, where his warp energy has been pinning it in place for 10,000 years. Oh, what a twist it would have been. But you can tell that they were stood behind Dan Abnett with the cattle prod and don't write that, don't write that. And I had to go back and make sure it was all a bit canon. Don't break the foundations upon which the whole of the company has been built, Dan. Yes, but Lorgar's got triplets. Suddenly his other two brothers turn up. We had Alpha Arius, we had Omegon, now we're going to have triplets. No, Dan, no. You could see that was going on. So some people were a little bit disappointed by the End of the Death. And I mean, I loved it, but I could feel it. Anyway, what I wanted to say is, having gone back and listened to it more than once, there's so much depth in that last book. If you have the time and if you've completed the Solar War, while you're painting away on your next project, while you're doing your next thing, just put on the End and the Death again. and listen to it all the way through, all 3 times 18 hours or how over the course of a couple of weeks, and you're going to pick up so much. It's a piece of writing genius. I've come to very, very much appreciate that book, The End and the Death, much more than I did at the first time. The first time, like a greedy school kid, like, get it in me, need to finish it. The second time round, just, loved it. Loved it. E. Trow just finished Sabbath Martyr from Gaunt's Ghost. They keep getting better and better. That's what I was saying last week. Gaunt's Ghost is one of these series which starts off mid-tier, but it just keeps. I mean, if you just finish Sabbath Martyr, I'm currently listening to Gaunt's Ghost on Audible. Haven't read them a few times. I'm on Blood Pact. Oh my God. Hinza House, the haunted house at the end of the world last time, with the wind blowing across dry skulls in a valley with the top sawn off. That was peak Abner. Yeah, it keeps getting better. That's another thing, guys. If you've all finished the heresy stuff, jump in Gaunt's Ghosts. You'll love it. Thank me later. Audible's got me through so many books. Blood Buffalo, £5 donation. Thank you so much. Audible at work causes issues. Mailman, are you okay? Why are you crying? Because Jubal Khan, the Lord of Summer Lightning, just died. How are you? Okay? Dude, man, Blood Buffalo. Did you really get teary-eyed when the Lord of the Summer Lightning? I did too. There was a few points. I'm not... some people say, I never cry in films. I never cry in books. Dude, I will bawl my eyes out. I remember watching the best example of this is Lord of the Rings. Lord of the Rings, the first film, we were like, oh man, they didn't screw it up. Lord of the Rings, the second film, we were like, oh, those of us that saw it at the cinema. And when the third film came out, I think I started crying in Return of the King about how I went with my sister. And she was like, are you okay? Yeah. And then an hour later, you okay? Yeah. I started crying about an hour in. And so I was just crying or dribbling, snotty nose for about 2 hours. It was just so emotional, man. But yeah, thank you for your donation. Audible is awesome. 10 out of 10. Would recommend. Ranting on about that. Bit of a sidetrack there. Where were we? Stupid work making me late. Hi, Timothy. Thanks for joining. Timothy Unwin and Timothy Fowler. And Pickle Nick. There's Eamon. Eamon, what you got? I finished Thousand Suns and Prospero Burns, and while Magnus definitely was not without fault, Araman, on the other hand, seems fault. Yeah, dude. Thousand Suns makes Araman... Yeah. There are some G characters in 40k. In Heresy. Like Khan. Araman. Araman comes across really well. Argyle Tal. I even like the Perpetuals. Some people have problems with the Perpetuals, but I love Alanius Pierce and John Grammaticus and people like that. I love that. So Perpetuals didn't exist before the Horus Heresy book series, and now they're a thing in 40k canon. It's good. It's amazing. Lord of the Rings in the cinema, and then you got the extended DVDs. I know. They made it better. And so what I would do before I watch the second movie is watch all the way through the extended edition, like literally the night before, and then go out and watch the second movie. And then when it came to the third movie, all the way through the extended edition, first movie and second movie, then go out to the cinema on multiple occasions. It's amazing. Legion of One audio drama when Garrow tells Loken who he is. Tears every time. Yeah, man. And he drops his weapon and says, if you slay me, then you would have killed the first. Then who is the traitor? You would have killed the first loyalist. It's good. It's good. It's good. When's the last time I got teary-eyed? I mean, there was a bit in the Gaunt's Ghosts recently on Audible where I was tearing up a bit. I forget where it was. I think it might have been Garon. Damn it, I forget. You just watched all 3 Lord of the Rings movies extended in the theaters a couple of weeks ago. It was great. What the hell? What the hell? I missed that. They had all 3 of them, extended editions, in the cinemas. I missed that. The death is ours. We choose it. We deny you your victory. Dude. Yeah. I mean, Sol Tarvitz on Isfahan 3 when the bombs drop on the Coral City at the end of it. When I forget it was, Solomon turns to him and says, did we make a difference? Just, that gets me every time, man. They will remember us, said Sol Tarvitz. So good. Sure is sure. Pickle Nick. Sure is sure. Yep. They released them again here in the States. Did they release the Lord of the Rings extended edition anywhere in the UK cinemas? And if not, that's a crime against humanity. Someone call the UN. The sanguineous speech in Echoes of Eternity is, yeah, that was teary-eyed as well. I remember reading that the first time when they're there on the last wall, the bastion, the Imperial Palace themselves, and that Dreadnought walks out, the Titan with the guy and the thing, the killing ground between, puts down the ultimatum, you can all leave or we'll kill you all, and Sanguinius flies up, and you expect him to give this massive rousing speech, and he says, I don't want to be here. It's just, and then the speech goes on. It's an incredible speech. It's just, yes. Infinite Divine, great fun. Still haven't finished that one. You just finished Honor Guard. So you sure as sure get the reference. Yeah. Honor Guard. That's when they go up to the Siren Hold? No. That's the first, the Saint. And yes, I remember that one. I forgot what planet it's on, but it's a good one. The tank battle in the town, really good. Really good. Chilions, those big egg-shelled things, really good. No, you don't want the Hobbit films bundled. You just want the extended edition Lord of the Rings stuff. Am I the only one who doesn't want Hollywood or any major production group to get their hands on the 40k universe, says Michael V. Jager. You're not the only one that wants that, but tough. Amazon have got their hands on it. It's coming to a TV show near you at some point. Henry Cavill's doing the Highlander remake first, isn't he? In January, I think that starts filming. But they'll get their hands in 40k. Fall of Cadia is good. How was Fall of Cadia? I heard it was good, not great. I would recommend. I think it is a good standalone book. I enjoyed it. Yes. It's not a 10 out of 10. It's not a banger. But if you like Guard, you'll love that book. And even if you don't like Guard, they didn't screw it up. They made it. It's good. It's more than good. It's one of the better standalone 40k books there are. As for standalone 40k books, finding a good one is hard, but it's one of the better ones. Betrayer is one of the best endings. Yep. Sabbath Martyr book. Yep. The Hobbit was mid, but it wasn't Peter Jackson's fault. I know he came along to rescue it after Guillermo del Toro. He bailed out, but he bailed out because of studio interference. The studio interference persisted first through the film, through Peter Jackson's tenure, and he said he'd never work with, what studio was it again? He didn't want to work with them again. I read Cadia Stands. Title was very misleading. Yeah, Eisenhorn is incredible. I mean, books that you must read: Eisenhorn, Gaunt's Ghost, Night Lord's Trilogy, the first 3 books of the Horus Heresy. I mean, those are auto things. And when you do Eisenhorn, you'll end up doing Ravener, then you'll end up doing Pariah. It's just, yeah. Death of Integrity was a good standalone. Death of Integrity? Haven't heard of that one. What's Death of Integrity? What's Death of Integrity? I wish I wasn't so paranoid about the TV screen here and the computer, because then I could just Google it and probably flash it up on the screen. I've seen other streamers do that, and there's buttons you can press and the things, but I'm too scared. Kafus Kane is also great. See, the thing is, Kafus Kane is really good, particularly book 4 is really good. It can get a bit samey. And you really should start reading Kafus Kane before you read Gaunt, because, I mean, Kane is great, but Gaunt is, it's a different level. It's a different level. You got 2 new people into 40k with the Infinite and Divine. Legend. Thank you for bringing more people into the hobby. More people, more often, more money, more problems. Spread this hobby goodness like a disease. Let's make more people poor and selling kidneys and donating blood just to buy plastic crack. Games Workshop is just a poor company somewhere in Nottingham. They need your money. Death of Integrity is a Marine and Blood Angel successor on a Space Hulk versus Gene Steel. Right, okay. That was almost a full sentence. Guys, anyone else out there read Death or listened to Death of Integrity? Let's get a second opinion on this, because Blood Buffalo is clearly on crack right now. I can't write sentences, but I'm writing it down because I want to check it out. I'm always looking for good 40k, 30k Warhammer books. GW is a multi-dollar company. Exactly. They only have multi-dollars. They need many more dollars. Get all your friends and family, Aunt Bessie and your cousin in on the hobby, so they can become, instead of a multi-dollar company, a multi-$100 company. They do have a few several pounds. Sorry, speed typing at work. Blood Buffalo, are you living the dream? Are you listening to some YouTube content while working? That is the absolute dream, my friend. You're getting paid to listen to this. It's by Guy Haley. Now you have my interest. Guy Haley is a good one. He's a good one. Don't they call him Guy Healy for some reason? Maybe he's Irish. I don't know. Down Amongst Dead Men is a great short story. Read it recently. To quote Gaston, whoa, slow down, Blood Buffalo. Any more thoughts on how we donate to the loft? Yes, I have a dream, ladies and gentlemen. I have a dream to expand my hobby space. So I have the ultimate gaming setup upstairs in the loft with everything lined up, 2 tables, stuff at one end. I have a dream. And hopefully one day we can achieve this dream. And you can raise me up as one of your own to be the hobby god, sitting in the loft, making content for everyone. How to do this? Donate, subscribe, become a member. Tell your cousin, tell Aunt Bessie to become a member to Winter's SEO YouTube channel. Become a tier 3 channel member. And you get yourself an extra battle report every single Winter's Wednesday. To do the loft, spoken to the wife. As it stands at the moment, we're putting some money aside in it because I can't get doing the YouTube thing. I'm not getting a loan to pay for my loft. I need to save to pay for the loft. It's hardly the most stable job environment I'm in. So we've agreed on a time thingy bob in the future. Oh, we've talked about a year and a half, saving some money, see how we get on. And then with every new membership, with everything that comes in, I did run, so that's stage 1. And then I'll promote about it and talk about it here. And you're going to get all your friends become channel members. And then, you know, if I get like 100 more channel members, that'd be lovely over the course of, and they stay channel members. So the stability's there. And then the other thing I can do is a GoFundMe, and I ran that past her brain like yesterday. She's not happy with that idea. So I need to start working on that idea. So give me a few weeks. I'll start chipping the idea. I've got an idea for a GoFundMe and a way to reward people for the GoFundMe as well, or the first 10 people for this, or the first 100. I think that could work. Now, I'm also it's taken me a couple of weeks to think about a GoFundMe as well. I'm uncomfortable with the idea of just asking for money. I'd rather people want to support and get something back. But this is the YouTube space. This is how it works. So lean into it. But yeah, I think so. Also the idea is if you set up a GoFundMe and then you don't achieve what you need to get the GoFundMe funded, then that feels bad, doesn't it? It feels bad. And being such a pessimistic person, I'm not sure. I don't believe that anyone would want to support me that way enough. But we'll see. So first up, like, comment, subscribe, become members, tell all your friends. Second step, work on her. Figure out a GoFundMe idea. Get that up there. See if that works. And then that's it, I think. Space Marine 2 coming on September the 9th, so that hopefully will bring some more people into this hobby space. And it's not just this hobby space, it's watching this hobby space on YouTube as well. We're a community within a community within a community. We are the Warhammer community on YouTube, which is a tiny space. Like when I was away at the Realm of Chaos at Firestorm Games in Cardiff at the weekend, there were people there who didn't even recognize me. I know. I wasn't offended or anything. It happens all the time. When people come up to me who recognize me, which was like one fella who wasn't in the group, came up and said, "Hello, you're Winters." And I went, "Yes. Just want to thank you. You do awesome work. Cheers." I always feel a bit weird, but I like it. It's nice. It's like that. Like, am I a celebrity? No. But someone recognized it's nice. It says a little bit of ego drip. It's nice. And my fragile old ego needs that drip every now and then. Wraith Raider, 15 months. Thank you for being 15 months member. You're walking, you're crawling, you're talking. People like you. Being solid, being here, helping support the dream. Where did you place you haven't said? Okay, so I went to Realm of Chaos, which was a casual tournament. And what I mean by casual tournament is we didn't play Pariah Nexus, we didn't play Leviathan mission deck. Plant organized it, and it was 4 missions based around the 4 Chaos Gods. Like, for example, one of them was just an arena. I went 4-0, and I placed second. There was a younger person, forget his name, Ujamiflip. I got a few more points than me. And his list was Hypercrypt Necrons with 2 Catans in it. But my list was absolutely filthy. Normally when I go to these events, the King of the Norths, the March of Winters, the Weekend at Bernie's, all the community events that I've ever gone to, I've always toned down my lists at every single one of those events. I remember the first King in the North I went to, I lost every single game and came bottom. And then the guys, the unpaid interns on the phone, are always saying, "Never meet your heroes. You can't meet me for the first time in public and I trash you in 2 turns. That's not very fun, is it? So I shouldn't do that." And they're encouraging me not to do that, and I shouldn't do that, and I shouldn't want to do that. And I haven't done it ever, except at this tournament. I leaned into it on this tournament. I brought a really filthy Death Guard list, and went 4-0. And but one of those games doesn't count. The second game was against Knights, Chaos Knights. He had 5 or 6 Diddy Knights and 3 big Knights, and I forget his name. Bad with names. Fella number 3. David, I think he was. First event he'd been to as well. He had one of the worst dice rolling games I've ever seen ever. Now, normally, when you have a really bad dice rolling game, you can sometimes grab something from the fire. But at the same time, I had one of the best dice rolls in games I've ever had. If I had to film this, I wouldn't even bother putting up on YouTube. I couldn't stop rolling 5s and 6s. He couldn't stop rolling 1s and 2s. It was over in 2 turns. He said, "That's the quickest game of 40k I've ever played." And I went, "Yep, I'm sorry." But he had fun and we chatted and things. So the second game doesn't count, but the first 3 games certainly do. And going 4-0, I felt dirty. I brought a filthy list. I don't think I'll do that again anytime soon. When I told the boys, the unpaid interns, Brat was like, "You filthy animal." And yeah, they made me feel rather guilty about it. So I don't know if I'll do it again. I had some performance anxiety, okay? I'm getting on. It's been a few years since I won the 2021 No Retreat Legends of Legend Champions trophies. I just wanted to see if I could shake it out again. So I shook it out a bit. I shook it out a little bit. I brought a filthy list along and I destroyed everyone before. It was the Realm of Chaos as well. Had to bring Death Guard to the Realm of Chaos. The end of all things, right? I had to lean into it. Dude, you met Ben Henderson? The list wasn't that filthy. You nearly lost game 3. Not really, though. I mean, it was 21 points to 19 in game 3. It was a lot closer game. And that was with Michael, who flew all the way over from Germany. And he was a glorious army, glorious player, very close game. And nearly lost. There were ways back. There were ways back for Michael to come, and there were ways back for the Blood Angels. But, I mean, a domino had to fall here and a domino had to... I felt like I was always in control of that one. All I'm saying is I felt like apart from turn 1, when I shot loads of stuff and didn't do anything to the Blood Angels, I felt like I was always in control of that. I thought I knew what I was doing and I was making genius moves. And then there was a thing on the side. The Dante thing didn't go too well. Painting Plastic. You're Michael. Hi, Michael. That was a great game I played against you. Thanks for coming all the way over from Germany. Twice now. That's twice you've come over for a community event. It was a very close game, turn 3. But the end, it wasn't in doubt, was it? It wasn't in doubt in the end. That some things went badly for me. Some things went badly for you. But you faced the end of all things. And there's nothing you can do about the end of all things. They just rolled over you. I shot Mephiston in the head, and then you jumped on Mephiston and killed him with everyone. But then I had a thing to jump on your thing. And then you killed the thing that jumped on. I jumped on your thing and killed your thing. Then you jumped on my thing, Mortarion, and killed my thing. And then I jumped on the thing that killed your thing with the thing at the end. There was no doubt. You were facing the 2021 No Retreat Legend of Legend champion. There was no doubt. It was the best game I played, though, number 3. Number 1 was a bit of a runaway, and number 4 was a bit of a runaway. And number 2 was just the dice rolling was horrible. But thanks for coming. Yes, Sam, thank you for your 29 months. Thank you. We need to get a game of 30k in soon. Yes, we do. Been working on a destroyer company. Yeah, we could. We could squeeze a game of 30k in at some point. Next week no, not really next week, but the week after next and the week after that there's gaps because it's July and I tried to leave it open. I'll be back, says Painting Plastic Miniatures. I hope you're a great guy. Lovely army. Your Blood Angels army was a little bit scary as well. Fortunately for me, I get to go up against Blood Angels quite routinely because Sultan likes them and plays them all the time. So the end of all things, I ran against Blood Angels quite. So when you put your army down, I immediately understood what you could do and how you did it. So game 3 was more maneuver warfare, but I had more resilience. Game 1, it was World Eaters versus Death Guard. And I went first, but I didn't move all the way up. It's because I knew how fast World Eaters could move. They can get pluses to movement and pluses to charges. So I held back a little bit and didn't kill anything in turn 1. And then in turn 1, because I held back a little bit, he only made 1 long bomb charge. And the other long bomb charges he failed. And that left his army exposed somewhat in the middle of the battle grid to the rest of my army. And that's versus World Eaters. Game 2 against the Chaos Knights. Terrible dice rolling. Game 3 against Blood Angels. very close, very tactical, but there was never in doubt. And game 4 was against Imperial Guard, Rogaldorn, 4 Lumen Rust battle tanks, big block of Ogrins with the -1 damage with the feel no pain, quite a bit of indirect and Scions dropping in and things like that. It was a strong army. That Dark Angels Chris played actually in game turn 1 and lost 2, and I saw it and I thought, oh, this is a bit worrying. And then so in turn 1 I mainly just ran at him and he killed a bunch of stuff. But in turn 2, because of where he positioned himself, I was able to jump on a couple of things in battle round 2 with Mortarion, with the Terminators. I still had half of the squad of Terminators left. I was up at Cloud of Flies on the Terminators when he started shooting at them, and then kept shooting at them with Cloud of Flies on. So I still had quite a lot of stuff. Then Mortarion and the Terminators were running around in his backfield, and he didn't kill enough in my backfield. So when he dropped his Scions in, that cleared up all the stuff around there. And yeah, and that guy came all the way over from the Netherlands. We had 2 international guests in Cardiff at the weekend, one from the Netherlands and one from Germany, and they were both lovely. Yeah, I very much enjoyed myself. Very much looking forward to the next one if Plant puts on another one. So those were the 4 victories that I had. The Death Guard list, evening Chewy. It was a great weekend. Chewy was there as well. Evening Liam. Evening everyone. The list, if you want to know what was in it, what was so filthy, it was Mortarion and 10 Terminators with Typhus. So you just throw them forward and tell your, hello, go for it painting. You just throw them forward and let your opponent have to deal with them. Mortarion, 10 Terminators, Typhus, go. 3 Plague Burst Crawlers, because Plague Burst Crawlers. 3 units of Plague Marines for secondaries, for move blocking, for deep strike denial, and 3 units of 7 Plague Marines. They can put in some work now with the contagion things, with heavy blight weapons and with plasma guns. A plasma gun overcharged in contagion range is AP -4 at 2 damage a time. You can put 2 of them in a unit. If they all hit, all wound. That's 4 intercessors just dead. And then a couple of drones floating around. I think it was 2 of the crawly drones, the blight haulers, and 2 of the floaty ones, the plague spitters. Yeah. So it was a pretty filthy list. I don't know if I'll do that again. I've stretched that muscle. Like, yeah, okay, yeah, maybe next time I'll bring something. And it wasn't, here's the crazy thing though, it wasn't the most filthy list that I could bring. I was doing everything I could not to bring a Hypercrypt Necron list, which is the one that won, beat me by a few points. I was doing everything I could not to bring, because it's Realm of Chaos, you've got to bring the Chaos stuff. So you played the Hypercrypt Necrons on Saturday and Sunday. Nice, man. Nice. Yeah, it's just, they're very, very good. Because movement wins your games. And that's why Grey Knights are good with their movement. That's why Necrons are good with their movement. So we're seeing lots of lists that do that sort of thing. Uriel Ventrius, deep striking in around all over the place. The other type of lists that are winning games these days are lots of horde lists, like 100 odd, 200 odd bugs, or cultists everywhere. The meta shifts one way, the meta shifts another way. That's what's happening behind the scenes. Yes. How we doing, chat? Water now. I've finished my coffee. I'm on to my bottled water. Bottled water. How we doing, chat? Yeah. Nice weekend. Firestorm Games in Cardiff. If you're ever near there, you should check it out. It's good. They've got a good setup there. Guard being able to have movement with their detachment is now awesome. Yes. Your Dawn did work. Yes. And Scions as well. And that's why the Walkers, the Sentinels, are featured quite a lot in guard lists, because the movement is good. What was this about a weekend for next March of Winters? This March of Winters sold out 6th of October. Very much looking forward to it. Next year, we've preliminarily booked it for 2 days. I don't know when it is next year, but the idea is to do it over a weekend. Yeah. Primaris Dave, you were the only Votan at the event, but you were doing well with your Votan, with your entire codex, with the one unit from every single one of your units. You were doing well, man. They're not going to move Cardiff closer now, but it's a great. The venue's really good. The food's good-ish. The food's okay. The food's good. The bar's good. It's got a bar. They've got lots of tables. Lots of gaming systems other than 40k. There were people in there D&Ding and doing all sorts of stuff. Yeah. Liam McQuillan, doing great. Continuing to pay away Night Lords for when I come see you in August. Liam Evil Cod, is that you? Who was the best Space Marine and why is it Sol Tarvitz? Dude, my friend Alex Essio would agree with you. Sol Tarvitz is the G. He's just... Sol Tarvitz is a G. Love him. You are COD 40k. Okay. That's the 2-day thing. Nice. Make sure you smash them. I'm looking forward to destroying the Night Lords. Yeah. So, disasters, weekends. It's been good. Tomorrow, filming with Sultan. He's going to run the Sisters for the first time. It's like when I tried Tyranids. Tyranids tomorrow. Tried the Tyranids since the updated data slate. It's recorded last week or the week before. But it's my first run of Tyranids. And that comes out tomorrow for Winners Tier 3 channel members. Tomorrow, we need to try out the Sisters. So Sultan's doing that. Friday, it's a game of 30k. Saturday, Johnny V. And Sunday, I'm filming part 4 of The Signal with Chewy. And that's the one I'm going to release next Wednesday for members, because the Signal narrative campaign is a members only thing. Nassar Amit is best. Abdominus Nox. We will come for you. Have you done the Night Lords trilogy? You have to have done the Night Lords trilogy, right? Where they've got the Scream. It's so cool. It's so cool. Anyway, how long are we banging on? Hour and a quarter. I feel like I'm spent. What do we think? Do we want to keep going? Or are we spent here? Played my first game of Pariah at the weekend. The pivot rules make life very awkward for bikes and buggies. Yeah, basically you move 2 inches less if you want to go around a corner, right? But I think they've ruined the movement rules a little bit, haven't they? I mean, all they needed to do is say, this is a vehicle, and you want to move the vehicle 9 inches. No part of the hull may exceed 9 inches, you know? Just do the thing. No part of the hull may exceed this in distance. Done. And also the fly thing, you know, whether you measure up, along, and down. They ruined the fly mechanic as well. Why not just fly, measure all distance vertically? When you deep strike in, except when you charge. Measure all distances vertically, but when you charge along the ground. That gets rid of the janky stuff that happens with fly. People charging, hey, look, it's only a 2-inch charge, and they're charging to the top of a tower here. Or the janky charges when people are jumping over the things to tag other things. All they have to do is fly, measure distance horizontally all the time, and when you charge, you're charging. Things have to land to charge in, run in, you charge on the ground. There's lots of things they could have done to fix it, but instead we now have a rule teaching people how to measure in straight lines. Marky, thank you for your 15 months. Thank you. More Saga of the Red Frost, please. I'd love to do some more Saga of the Red Frost, but I don't think Mikey P is playing. He's doing the Heresy, and Saga of the Red Frost 1 and 2 were glorious. I very much enjoyed them. I'm not sure Mikey P is playing 40k at the moment. Read the Nightwater first. Makes the trilogy better. Years. Hi, Jink. I don't despite the pivot rule, but it's just adding more faff onto something did not need faff. I know, it's just more faff on top of faff. I don't despise the pivot rule either. It makes sense. -2 if you're going around a corner, fine. But it goes to show the state of the game at a certain level, because I'm sure all of us never really had problems with movement and measuring in a straight line and going around corners with your friends, family, and the local games. I'm sure no one had a problem with it. But clearly, at a level of play, there was all sorts of abuse happening, and they had to put in rules for measuring in straight lines. It's added faff on top of the faff. There's other ways round. Luton, hear me out. We all just pretend recent rules change didn't happen in my Burma. Yeah. So, Luton, you can pretend that the recent rule change didn't happen. You can do that. But there's going to be another one in 3 months' time, and another one in 3 months' time. Games Workshop have committed to balancing the game and the points every 3 months throughout a 3-yearly life cycle. Is that a good decision? Is that a bad decision? Should they just stop touching it? Once the fox is dead on the side of the road, you don't poke it with a stick. Or do you keep poking it with a stick to see if it will get up and run around again? That's what they've decided to do. That's 40k. Was it worse when they didn't balance it and left the points exactly the same for a whole edition and you were stuck with a bad codex, and 5 years later you didn't get one during that edition, then another edition came out, and then 3 years after, and then finally you had a good codex 5 years later? Or what? It's just, They need to get themselves sorted. Get a solid foundation for all normal people. Then only do all the digital stuff for the sweats. Balancing, appeasing competitive players. See, here's the problem with 40k right now, in my opinion, is if you play 40k right now, you're paying the tournament edition. The Pariah Nexus, Leviathan, that is what they play at tournaments. 40k has never had this before. It's like playing Call of Duty and all you can do is play S&D and domination with all the restrictions in. It's like Call of Duty gets rid of all the other stuff. You're just playing the competitive esports mode all the time and they get rid of all the other crap. What the hell is that all about? What 40k should have is, well, two things. One, they need better balancing by better playtesting at the start of the edition, which they've never done and they never will do because they don't actually playtest stuff. They do a bit in-house between the rules writers, and that's about it. Some goes outside. Well, let's not get into that. But what they need is, like Call of Duty, like any other game online that is also in esports, is they need your casual player base. They need casual missions for casual players around this thingy bob. And then the tournament pack edition should be an add-on, not the base game. It should be a modification of the base rules. So you can say, here's the rules, and here's the balanced data slate for pivoting and turning in straight lines, and here's the sweat for you guys. Here's your base rules, and you don't have to worry about secondaries and tertiaries and secret missions and secret agendas and a secret girlfriend and someone hiding under your bed and what's in the closet at midnight. You don't have to worry about that. And then here's the Pariah Nexus. Here's all your things for all your other guys who want to do the tournament edition. Yeah. They're just... but, you know, that's where we are right now. That's what they want to do. They want to ignore the filthy casuals and just lean into the hard, sweaty people. And why can't we have both? I mean, only a few years ago, 3 ways to play. Do you remember that narrative open matched? Only a few years ago, they thought multiple ways of playing was a good idea. Now, all of a sudden, they don't think multiple ways of playing is a good idea. There is only one way to play, and it is this way. They don't think it's a good idea anymore. Do you remember when they thought that putting different missions in the main rulebook was a good idea? They thought that was a good idea for about 3 decades. Now they don't think putting different missions in the main rulebook is a good idea anymore. There's one mission, one way to play the game. Yeah, that's something that hopefully will change next edition. Here's a crazy idea. All these bizarre rule changes that only come out in tournaments. How about the tournament refs make the call? That's what used to happen, right? There was tournament pack. I mean, yeah. You play the tournament pack should be for the yeah. I think there should be a tournament deck and an open war deck. Yes. I think there should be a tournament deck and an open war deck and a Maelstrom of War deck available right now. They thought 3 ways to play was a good idea soon. Why can't we have 3 ways to play? Here's if you want to play tournament. Here's if you want to play open. How about old school Maelstrom of War right now? And they should refresh those decks. Why can't we have 6 different decks available right now? 6 different ways to play. Why can't Pyranexus and Leviathan and Cadia be 3 mission deck variants that are available right now? And some tournaments that are, what's wrong with having different ways to play? Why only one official way to play? I say bring back Maelstrom for us filthy casuals and open, and I say that. And Warhammer 40k needs a balanced rule system with multiple ways to play in the main rule book, and the tournament chapter approved pack should be an add-on. And just as when you make tournament edition stuff online, it comes with restrictions. That's what's going to come in your tournament pack. The restrictions in the tournament pack might be no epic heroes, might be no towering units, might be, so those are model ways of doing it, might be when you measure, when you want to turn a vehicle, you've got to move 2 inches slower, might be when you're moving flying models, you've got to hop. So instead of your Dark Eldar army is now a hopping army rather than a skimming army. That's what I would do. And that's the way it was back in previous editions, because Games Workshop didn't lean into the tournament side of things. Games Workshop let the tournament things do their tournament side of things and let them balance themselves. Games Workshop just did their thing. But now Games Workshop, I think they own the ITC. I think they bought it. They're leaning into it hard because all the people at the top of Games Workshop don't actually play the game. Or they've come from their bigwigs and things that have come from the gaming industry. And Games Workshop is kind of its own unique little mushroom. There's not very many. It's a hobby space. It's a collector's space. Most people are hobbyists and collectors first before they ever start playing the game. And then once you start playing the game, you're vastly outnumbered by the hobbyists and collectors and the people who are interested in lore and the people who are interested in painting and the people who are interested in... I mean, you can collect and paint a few miniatures and listen to some lore and play some video games quite easily. But to actually play the game, you need to paint and collect a lot of miniatures and have a friend and some scenery and a brain to learn rules. It's very complicated. It's not something you could just come home and turn on like a video game. It takes a while, doesn't it? Jason Throon, thank you for 11 months. Had great fun at Firestorm. Looking forward to March of Winters. I'm glad you had a great fun. What did you bring at Realm of Chaos? Yeah. Loft donation request. Would you be prepared to write a Winters Maelstrom style deck that I can play to download? I can, but I can't sell it. I could write a thing that you could play, but I can't make money that way. I can make money off my merch, but I would be sued by Games Workshop. Stuart Fields, I'm fine. Thank you for asking. Luton's in the chat. Yes. Painted many and many with your... Yes, thank you, Stuart. It's a local Australian friend. Thanks. What are you talking about? So let's Luton, what are we talking about? You have people who are only playing every few months. I expect that's the majority of the 40k modelers. Yeah, the most people I talk to play once a month. So here's some play every 2 weeks, some play month to month, and some play once every 2 months. From my vast experience of all the people coming to play me, I'll average it out Most people about once a month. Some get in a couple of months, some one every couple of months, but on average about once a month. That's what most people do. If you're doing it more than that, you're above the average. If you're doing it less than that, you're below the average. Yeah. So if you're playing once a month, then by the time you've painted a thing and updated a thing and gone through the local updates and the things, and then and then 3 months time, it's all changed again. So a lot of these discussions are truly difficult without without any data to throw into the mix. You're right, and we don't know what the data's like. I'm also talking, I just, from my point of view of playing and meeting people a lot and playing a lot, I have no data. Also, the data for the channel and my audience is going to be completely different, and what they like and what they prefer is going to be completely different from, I don't know, sweaty channel audience, because I don't do the sweat thing that much. You know what I mean? Supplant member for 29 months. Thank you for your 29 months. I had loads of fun this weekend. Went 4-0. Reminded people. Had to remind people. Had to lean into it. Who the 2021 No Retreat Legend of Legend champion was. Also, it was a Realm of Chaos tournament. With the end of all things, I couldn't let my boys down. You know what I mean? I couldn't let them down. I had a great time. 4 great games. The second one was a bit hard on the guy. Second game was a bit rough for him in, because it was terrible dice rolling. But 4 great games. Love going to Firestorm. Lovely meeting my community and chat to people there. And hearing their stories and things. And 2 people came from another country to Cardiff to a community event. One from Holland, one from Germany. Legends all. I mean, there we go. Yeah. Have you checked out Horde mode from Warhammer? So this is so people tell me like Horde mode, 1-page rules, things like that. Look, it's your 40k. You can play 40k. It's your models, your gaming group. Play 40k your way. Play whatever edition you want. Make up whatever house rules you want. Me, as someone, even before I made content for YouTube, I've always played the edition in front of me with the facts, with the up-to-date codex. That's what I've always done. If they change it, they've changed, sometimes for the better, sometimes for the worse. There's some rules I miss, some things I think they've done better. There's, the ranting about Games Workshop making changes, I got over that in 5th edition. I just play what's in front of me. So I am aware there's loads of different ways of playing, but even before I became, I just play the game and try it out. And some editions I prefer more than other editions. I'm preferring 10th edition a lot more than I preferred 9th edition. And I think 8th edition was peak 40k for many people. 8th edition was, my favorite editions are probably 5th edition and the 8th edition. But 10th is pretty good. Loot and house rules. Terminators are back on 3+ on a 2d6 save. Do you remember that in 2nd edition? 2d6. You needed a 3 up. I remember Harlequins charging me from about half the table away and adding on an attack for every inch they charged. And sometimes a solitaire would do it, would hit your line from about 20 inches away and have like 26 attacks or something. It was redunk. That's 2nd edition for you. Your local community is definitely moving away again like it did in 9th. Right. You've managed 1 game of 40k in Australia. And now they're leaning again like they did in 9th. Yeah. 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 10th edition. That's a discussion, isn't it? Like I said, I don't think there's that much wrong with the edition. Part of the problem is there's one way to play, and it's Pariah Nexus. One official way to play 40k your way. I play Murderbot. I make up stuff all the time. If you've got a community of people around you that are happy to do that sort of thing, it's fine. And if they released a Maelstrom of War deck along with a Pariah Nexus deck, I think a lot more people would come back to the hobby. I think some people are getting a bit tired of running after primaries and secondaries and all the games that they do. Now, having said that, if you lean into 10th edition, and they want you to lean into the rule of 3, they want you to get into the cheese, and they want you to lean into getting your secondaries, getting your primaries, and trying to get as many points as possible. If you lean into 2nd edition, if you lean into 10th edition, the game does feel better if your opponent is also leaning into it. It's kind of built to play that way, or the missions are at least built to play that way. And some of my best games of 10th edition are the ones where both of you are leaning into it and playing it as they intended to, which is a bit sweaty, a bit cheesy, a bit 3 of these things, 3 of those things. It does sing. However, if they released a measurable war deck or an open war deck and took the edge away and lay it there, I'm sure those systems would sing too. People would get used to playing different ways of playing and lean into that more. You got to lean. I mean, hardly are Einsteinian quotes here. Winter says if you lean into it, it gets better. I think that's pretty much how most things work. Lean into a bit of golf. Lean into a bit of whatever you're doing. It gets better if you lean into it. Oh dear. But yeah, we need other ways to play. Base game plus friendly custom tweaks equals super fun time. Exactly. And Games Workshop should have base missions with friendly custom tweaks, super fun times. And they should sell us that game mode and promote that game mode and shout about it. And YouTube content creators will make content about it. And guess what? More audience, more money, more market, more. It's just, yeah. But, 3 ways to play for a few years, but not anymore. Just one way. Despite all the discussion, I've enjoyed every game of 40k I've ever played. For my broad brain. Yeah. Yes. Anyway, that was a good one. We had a lovely discussion this evening. Thank you, everyone, for stopping by. I think it's, I'm running out of water and I ran out of my coffee. So we are going to Foxtrot Oscar. What's that, Luton? What is it? Check out Luton on YouTube. He's awesome. If he is the master of mankind when it comes to lore, and he probably is the master of mankind when it comes to lore, then I feel like I'm like Malcador when it comes to lore. I'm pretty good when it comes to lore. But, yeah. I mean, as I've said, the 9th edition Pariah book, as we discussed, that is a very simple way to mix things up. Different battle theatres. Yes. 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 And they do it in Heresy, right? With books like this in Heresy. And they can do it in 40k as well with like the Pariah Nexus book. Then they can introduce some lore. The Pariah Nexus book was the first one. Did you remember back in 9th edition where they released a narrative crusade book? It was the first crusade book that they released, and it had like 2 pages of narrative in it. The rest were just missions. It was crazy. If you release a book of lore, a book of narrative, then you better put some lore and you better put some narrative in it, as well as the missions. Yeah. Yeah, Stuart, the clocks. Have you? Yeah, you're in Australia. We're in British summertime now, so you got to get up an hour earlier to catch the whole of the live stream. But thanks for stopping by. Thanks everyone for stopping by this evening. Listen to me ramble again one more time. So disaster over, probably. Stay tuned to this space to see if I can rescue those videos that I ruined. I'm sure we'll be fine. Stay tuned for this space for the unboxing of this thing. Also, on Thursday, there's an additional video going up about the Horus Heresy because I've heard some disturbing rumors that they've started thinking about Heresy 3.0 and tweaking it a bit. And I wanted to get my word in there. Because someone at Games Workshop somewhere will watch that one or pass it on to someone in the room. I needed to get my word in there, get a few words in there early basically don't screw this up. So that one's coming up on Thursday. This next week, Horus Heresy at the weekend. Word bearers, Raven Guard. Tier 3 channel members tomorrow, 40k. It's lovely. It's lovely. I've had a great time. Rules for the Rules God. Skulls for the Skull Throne. Thank you all for stopping by. Be lovely to each other and things. Right, I've got to press 2 buttons and do... Yes. Happy wargaming.